Genesis. And I know this matter is not so attractive for so much people. I understand because it's the most scientific book from Kardec, I consider, and so much interesting because this. Then continue to the final first chapter. I hope you are so good and starting the final weekend with peace, happiness, and health. Of what use is the moral doctrine of the Spirit, since it's none other than that of Christ Himself? Do humans even have a need of a revelation? Can tell, not find within themselves everything that is necessary for self-guidance? From the moral point of view, God has, without a doubt, provided humans with a guide in their conscience, which says, don't do unto others what you would not want them to do unto you. Natural morality is certainly writing His people's hearts. Let me see this. This note by Rosa. It's about last chapter before this. Have a note, I don't know if I read, about pressing forward with progress. Spiritism will never be surpassed because if new discoveries were to show it to be in error on one point, it would modify itself on that point. If a new truth is revealed, is it accepted? About this, have a note. Faced with such clear and categorical statements as those contained in this chapter, all allegations leaning toward absolutism and autocracy of principles fall apart, as well as all the erroneous statements that some forewarned or misinformed individuals have lent to the doctrine. Such statements, however, are now new. We have repeated them sufficiently in our writing so as not to leave any doubt in this regard. Furthermore, they point to our true role, the only one to which we aspire, that of a worker. This is the note of Kardec. And 56 I was reading. From the moral point of view, God has without a doubt provided humans with a guide in their conscience, which says, don't do unto others what you not want them to do unto you. This is in 10 principal relations in the world. Natural morality is certainly right and in people's hearts, but does everyone know how to read it? Have they never failed to recognize its wise precepts? What have they done with the morality of Christ? How do those who teach it practice it? Had it not become a dead letter, a pretty theory that is good for others but not for themselves? Would you criticize a father for repeating the same lessons to his children 10 times or 100 times if they didn't profit from them? How, for example, you see a father say a son, don't put the finger in that when have electricity. You can condemn father that say this 10 or 1,000 times? I think no. Why would God do any less than such a father? Why would God not, from time to time, send special messenger to humans entrusted with reminding them of their duties and leading them back onto the right path when they wander from it, and opening the eyes of intelligence for those who have closed them? Just as more advanced cultures send missionaries to those that are less evolved. I am reading this. I'm not the writer. I'm not Kardec. I'm not scientist. I'm not biological teacher. I am not a physics teacher. I'm not a mathematics teacher, in first. In second, I'm not a scientist. Third, I'm not saint. It's still a day so far. I will arrive to this, but not. No. If I read this with emphasis, it's because author claimed this. I have all respect to this, because saved my life. To don't be staying in a hospice, because millions of voices were in my teenager time saying and made me feel various things that I was mine, but not was mine. Then I met Spiritism and clarified my mind this knowledge. Then I'm so grateful to meet this. And I'm reading now to others. How many? What's the problem? You will put me in a pedestal. Don't try this. Don't try, because if I met you and you come this way to me, I will give you my back, because I'm a normal person. And with various difficulties, how all people in this planet, maybe with more difficulties, because it's not so easy. See here and feel other dimension. Only people that pass to this will understand what I am saying. Okay? Letting clear, I'm not Kardec. Okay? Why would God do any less than such a father? Why would God not from time to time send special messengers to humans entrusted with reminding them of their duties and leading them back on the right path when they wander from it and open the eyes of intelligence for those who have closed them, just as more advanced cultures and missionaries to those that are less evolved. And I think this would mercy a great movie with all this book. But it don't will have return of money. But my respect to this is so much more great than this. The spirits teach no other morality than that of Christ for the simple reason that there is no other that is better. But what use would their teachings be if they told us only what we already knew? The same might be said of Christ's morality, which had been taught by Socrates and Plato 500 years early and in almost identical terms, and of all moralists who have repeated the same thing in all sorts of tones and under all sorts of forms. Very well, the spirits have come simply to increase the number of moralists. So easy, understand. But with the difference that manifesting themselves far and wide, they make themselves heard in the hut as well as in the palace by the uneducated as well as the educated. Was marvelous what happened when we read this and Kardec explained. And those epoch was the same time. Imagine now all world are having manifestation from the spirits, giving an answer that they don't know who made. They don't know. Only spirits knew that Kardec was making questions, and in no more than 1,000 centers, with full of good mediums received from various religions, because Spiritism don't start. In first was only research Kardec made, studies of Kardec happened about it, and in all word receiving the question that Kardec made to various spirits in his house, and all word receiving the answer. Kardec said that people from Peru in next to Brazil until north from Asia gave to her questions and answers and related various phenomena happened in all time, in all different places, of course, and one language with other can't communicate, don't have in those times, nor telephone, nor phone, nor medias. Only I think this. Telegraph. But how to pass a telegram, enormous telegram? I don't know if it was this way, but it was impossible. And different lands, different language, don't have communicate with each other. Only Kardec can can told 4 languages. Only Kardec, I think. I think was 4 or 5 languages. He knew this. Then received various correspondence, and he had a magazine about these studies. But must happen a great thing, how the Bible said this would happen in future. God says this in the Bible, and Kardec described this happened in this time. Various peoples in various social classes, various children, teenagers, adults, elders, all them receiving, all them, and have houses that 2 children knew knew how brothers, sisters, Fox sisters received various messages and various manifestations in his house. They are famous in Spiritism. Sisters Fox and a medium, and Mrs. Jaffet too, was a great medium from other religions, not spirits. Spiritism was created in those epochs, is starting the creation of Spiritism. Was a marvelous happening in all world. In various months, of course. I don't know how much time this was happening, but was generally God gave to Kardec answers through all people in the world. Can you imagine this? I still can't. But Kardec said that this happened. Very well. The spirits have come simply to increase the numbers of moralists, but with the difference that manifesting themselves far and wide, they made themselves heard in the hut as well as in the palace, by the uneducated as well as the educated. When the teaching of the spirits has adhered to the morality of Christ, is the knowledge of the principles that link the dead and the living. Principles that complete a vague notions he gave regarding the soul's past and future, and which sanction his doctrine with the laws of nature itself. And pay attention. And we know about world of spirits, open enormous door to your students if you are a teacher, your employers if you are a boss, to employers inside your house, and all people from relation, your sons, your daughters, your wife, your husband, your father, your mother. Because ever you will see not one person, but a person that have millions of years ago and experience. It's not more only people that intellectual in this life, intellectually ignorant. It's not more people that don't have wisdom. Because this was so much before this life of these people. These people with wisdom can be your student, your employer, your son, your daughter, your mother, your father, all this, and put level of people, interests in the same plane. You can see a people in view. Maybe those people would be a family from you in the past, asking for a mission or asking for a proof. In a war, you can see maybe an older parent of all past lives. You don't know. I don't know. One day I was in view, returning after work to my house, and I passed it and saw a man totally poor. And when I saw this, I ever sent a good thought, or a smile, or a good words, or money, or something that I had to give. But this way, I was with an impression with those men. And I go to my house and make a bit of food in a plate, and come to give to those men. When he saw the food, he was so with great happiness, and started to eating, and told me when he was sleeping in view, he was visiting marvelous other planets, other places with great happiness. And I think so interesting when he said this. I never imagined that people in view would have this type of thought or impression. I don't remember nothing when I go out. My body, sometimes I remember. Generally, no. Then they made so much more than me, and I was happy to help him, and he turned to my house. And the other day I go there and to give them more food, but he was disappeared. Never more I saw. He only appeared to send me this. And why I gave to him food, I don't know. Maybe it was an old parent from my family was there. Because until now I remember him. Probably he is dead and living in the marvelous planet they described to me. And he loved it, sleep I think, view, because he had marvelous impressions. And other men that I have a great affinity in house of elders, uh, they remember my father. And one day he said, I dreamed that I was helping a man that was in space, in a capsule, in space, and was needed help. And I was out of this place that various men were inside, and I talked to them, and I helped them, and I wake up, and after this, and I heard this story from Mrs. Antonio, and said, it's okay, it was a dream. But in the same day, more 18 journal appeared that was a capsule from, I think was Russian, that man's don't got returned, cause had a problem, but time passed and they got to resolve the problem. In the same day that man was dreaming in night and talked to me in the afternoon, and the night I saw the notice in journal. Then we can see that various persons that are living around us, we don't can imagine who is this spirit, nor in life, nor in view, nor how you're a student, your son, your doctor, your wife, etc. We don't can know, and probably was people from our past. And we want help, we don't know why. And contrary to was enemy in past. And very well, the spirits have come simply to increase the number of moralities. What the teaching of the spirits had added to the morality of Christ is the knowledge of the principles that link the dead and the living. And I account to you the dead, the living, and other livings. Principles that complete the vague notions he gave regarding the soul's past and future. Soul's past and future. And I say, souls in present, incarnated by incarnated, and which sanction his doctrine with the laws of nature itself, with the help of the new insights brought by Spiritism and the spirits. Human beings comprehend the solidarity that connects all beings, charity and fraternity become a social necessity. They do because of conviction what they would or otherwise do only because of duty, and they do it better. When human practice the morality of Christ, only then will they be able to say that they no longer have need of incarnate or discarnate moralists. Then God will not send them anymore. And the next item, one of the most important questions among those set forth at the beginning of this chapter was this: What is the authority of the Spirit is revelation, since it emanates from beings whose understanding is limited and who are not infallible. This would be a serious objection if the revelation consisted only of the teaching of the spirits. If we had received it from them exclusively and had accepted it with closed eyes, is not the case, Kardec say. They never was with closed eyes. He was a scientist. The objection becomes pointless, however, from the moment humans add the concourse of their intelligence and reasoning. Moreover, the spirits limit themselves to placing humans on the path of delusions that they can derive from observing the phenomena. Now the manifestations, then, all their innumerable variations are facts. Humans study them and look for the law in them, and they are aided in that endeavor by all categories of spirits, who are corroborators rather than revelators in the usual meaning of the word. The summit spirit statements to the rest of logic and common sense. In this way, they benefit from the special knowledge that spirits offer according to their position, but without renouncing to use their own reason. Another thing is, spiritism is not from no one land, first. Second, in Brazil are various confusions from other religions that say they are spiritists is not the name right. The right name is spiritualists. They are. Spiritism is about no one place, nor from Africa, religions from Africa, no, nor with rituals, don't have rituals in Spiritism, not from French, no. Kardec received in all words the answers to his questions that he made in his place, not in all lands. No, Kardec was in French. The answers came to Peru until north from Asia. This is a strong of God, and is an answer from various millions of people in the world. Because the acceptability of the Spiritism enormous and so fast. They submit spirit statement to the rest of logic and common sense. In this way, they benefit from the special knowledge that spirits offer according to their position, but without renouncing to use of their own reason. Since the spirits are none other than the souls of human beings, in communicating with them, we don't leave the sphere of humanity, a crucial fact to be considered. Hence, persons of genius who have been the beacons of humankind thus came from the world of spirits, just as they entered it upon leaving the earth behind. Since the spirits can communicate with human beings, the same geniuses can provide teachings while in spirit form, just as they did while in corporeal form. They can instruct us after their death, just as they did while alive. They are invisible instead of visible. That is the entire difference. Their experience and knowledge must be no less. And if their words as human had authority, such authority should be no less simply because they are now in the world of spirits. However, it's not only high order spirits who manifest, but those of all orders, and such has been necessary in order to initiate us into the true character of the spirit world, showing it to us in all its aspects. In this way, the relation between the visible and invisible worlds are more intimate and their connection more obvious. We see more clearly where we have come from and where we are going. That is the essential purpose of the communications. All spirits, therefore, regardless of the degree they have reached, can teach us something. But since they are at different degrees of enlightenment, it falls to us to discern what is good or bad in them, and to profit from what their teaching entails. All of them, however they may be, can teach us or reveal things of which we are ignorant, and of which without them we would know nothing at all. The great incarnate spirits were unquestionably powerful individuals, but their actions were restricted and necessarily slow to spread. If only one from amongst them, even if it were Moses or Elijah, Socrates or Plato, were to come in these latter times to reveal to humans the state of the spirit world, who could prove the truth of their assertions in this age or skepticism. Even if it were Moses or Elijah, Socrates or Plato, were to come in these latter times to reveal to humans the state of the spirit world, who could prove the truth of their assertions in this age of skepticism? Would he or she not be regarded as a dreamer or utopist? And even admitting, is in case of God decided today make the same thing that God makes in French, not in French, in world, and 1850. This is the post of Kardec, the situation. What would happen if it was today in this planet? This happened. Where to come in these latter times to reveal to humans the state of the spiritual world, who could prove the truth of their assertions in this age of skepticism? Would he or she not be regarded as a dreamer or utopist? And even admitting that he or her or she had the absolute truth, centuries oh no, not here, not today. I understand other. Where to come in these later times, to reveal to humans the state of the spirit world, who could prove the truth of their assertions in this age of skepticism? Was so skepticism in later times is this. Not today. Today, they don't would be credibility because communications medium. the media would make this debt. I have all certainties. This later times to into the human state of spirit world, who could prove in later times? Would he or she not be regarded as a dreamer or utopist, and even admitting that he or she had the absolute truth? Centuries would have to elapse before his or her ideas were accepted by the masses. Wisely, God didn't will it to be so. God willed that the teaching be given by spirits themselves and not by incarnates, in order to convince humans of their existence and furthermore to enable it to take place simultaneously all over the earth, either so that it could spread more rapidly or so that we could find the correlation of the teaching's evidence of the truth, thus giving each person the means of being convinced by him or herself. The spirits didn't come to free human beings from the endeavor of study and research. They did not bring them some kind of ready-made science concerning what humans could discover for themselves. The spirits left them to their own efforts. This is something spirits know perfectly well today. For a long time now, experience has demonstrated the error of the opinion that attributes to spirits all knowledge and wisdom, and that it's enough to address the first spirit who comes along in order to know all things. Having departed earthly humanity, spirits are one of its facets, nevertheless, and as on earth there are those who are more evolved and those who are commonplace. Thus many of them, no less scientifically and philosophically than certain human beings. Thus many of them know less scientifically and philosophically than certain human beings. They tell what they know, no more, no less. As is the case among humans, the more advanced spirits can instruct us on more subjects and can provide us more judicious counsel than those who are less advanced. Asking for counsel from spirits doesn't entail addressing supernatural powers, but rather one's echoes, the same ones one we would address if they were alive, family members, friends, or individuals more enlightened than us. This is what is important to comprehend, and this is what is ignored by those who not having studied Spiritism, have a completely erroneous idea about the nature of the spirit world and the relations with the beyond. So then, what is the usefulness of such manifestations, or if we would prefer such revelations, if the spirits don't know any more than we do, or if they don't tell us everything that they do know? First, as we have already stated, they abstain from giving us what we could acquire through our own efforts. Second, there are things they are not allowed to reveal because our degree of advancement cannot bear them. However, that fact aside, the conditions of their new existence expand the circle of their perceptions. They can see what they could not unearth. Freed from the shackles of matter and delivered from the cares of corporeal life, they judge things from a more elevated point of view and therefore more sanely. Their perception embraces a vaster horizon. They comprehend their errors, rectify their ideas, and rid themselves of human prejudices. It's in that fact that the superiority of the spirits over corporeal humanity consists, and depending on their degree of advancement. The reason why their counsels may be more judicious and disinterested than those of incarnates. They don't have more body nor material life, and they perceive and feel this is not important to them in other dimensions. Don't make no one sense have material things there. Contrary spirits with great attachment in material things, then when he is in body, they don't believe in first. They attach in those places they live it, and no one can retire them until they will have maturity to go and let material things back. Nor ever the spirit get it so fast. Maybe it will take centuries, various days, various months, various years, or centuries. It depends the degree of attachment in material things. Moreover, their environment enables them to initiate us into matters regarding the future life, unbeknownst to us, which we cannot ascertain from our current environment, of course. Until now, humans had formulated only theories about their future, which is why their belief on this point have been divided into such numerous and divergent theories, from nihilism to the fanciful concepts of heaven and hell. Today, however, it's the evil witnesses, the very actors in the life beyond the grave, who have come to tell us what is really is. Only they may do so. Consequently, their manifestations have served to enable us to understand the unseen world which surrounds us and which we did not even suspect. This understanding alone would be of major importance in the event we were to believe that the spirits were incapable of teaching us anything else. If you were to go to a country that was new to you, would you disregard the information given to you by the humblest peasants you came across? Would you refuse to ask them about the state of the roads just because they are only peasants? Obviously, not you would not expect to obtain from them information of a higher order, philosophy, psychology, etc. But because of where they are, they could inform you better on some points than could learned persons who who did not know the country at all. You could draw conclusions from this information that they themselves could not, but they would have been a useful instrument for your observations nonetheless, even if only to inform you about the customs of peasants. The same applies concerning our relations with spirits, where even the least of them may teach us something at least. A crude comparison will render the situation even more understandable. A crude. A ship loaded with immigrants departs for a far-off destination. It carries people from all walks of life, relatives and friends of those who remain behind. It's heard that the ship has wrecked. Let me see something. I don't remember if I left something. I was afraid to left something with fire. It carries people from all walks of life, relatives and friends of those who remain behind. It's heard that the ship has wrecked. Not a trace of it remains, and no news whatsoever has arrived regarding its fate. It's thought that all the travelers have perished, and all their families mourn for them. Nevertheless, this is a crude comparison. Nevertheless, everyone on board the ship, without exception, has reached an abundant and fertile now land, where they all live happily under a pleasant sky. However, this fact is unknown. One day another ship docks at the same land and finds all the castaways safe and sound. The happy news spreads like lightning. Everyone exclaims, "Our friends aren't lost after all," and they render thanks to God. They cannot see one another, but they can correspond. They exchange testimonies of affection. Thus happiness falls upon sadness. Such is the image of earthly life and life beyond the grave, before and after the modern revelation. Like the second ship, it has brought us to the good news of survival of those who are our loved ones, and the certainty of meeting them again someday. The doubt about their fate or ours no longer exists. Despair disappears before hope. However, other results have come to enrich this revelation, deeming humankind nature to grasp the mystery of its destiny and serenely contemplate new wonders. God has allowed the lifting of the veil that had separated the invisible from the visible world. The phenomena involving the manifestations have nothing extra-human about them. The spirit humanity has come to converse with corporeal humanity and say, we exist, so nothingness does not exist. This is what we are, and this is what you will be. The future is for you, as it is for us. You use it to walk in darkness. We have come to illuminate your path and to clear the way. You use it to run aimlessly. We will show you the goal. Terrestrial life, use it to be everything to you because you saw nothing beyond it. We have come to tell you by showing you the spirit life. Earthly life is nothing. Your vision use it to stop at the grave. We have come to show you the splendorous horizon beyond it. Formerly, you did not know why you suffer on earth. Now, in suffering, you see the justice of God. Doing good, use it to seem to bear no fruit for the future. Whereas from now on it will have a purpose and will be a necessity. Fraternity uses it to be nothing more than a fine theory. Now it rests upon a law of nature, under the domination of the belief that everything ends with life. The immensity of space is empty. Selfishness reigns supreme among you, and your word of order is every man for himself. With the certainty of the future, infinity space is infinitely populated. There is neither emptiness nor solitude anywhere, and solidarity connects all beings, both here and beyond the grave. It's the kingdom of charity with the motto, one for all and all for one. How the Musketeers. Lastly, at the end of your life, you use it to say an eternal goodbye to those dear to you. Now, however, you will say to them, see you soon. Such are in sum the results of the new revelation. It has come to fill the void left by disbelief, to encourage those stricken by doubt of the perspective of nothingness, and to give all things a reason for being. Therefore, does this result have no importance because the spirits have not come to solve the problems of science, to give knowledge to the ignorant, or the means to enrich oneself effortlessly. Does this result have no importance because the spirits have not come to solve the problems of science, to give knowledge to the ignorant, or the means to enrich oneself effortlessly? Nevertheless, the fruits that women should take from it are not only for the future life. They will enjoy it on the earth through the transformation that these new beliefs must necessarily bring to their character, their likes, their inclinations, and consequently their habits and social relationships, putting an end to the reign of selfishness, pride, and disbelief. These beliefs prepare the reign of the good, which is the kingdom of God announced by Christ. And have a note here. The use of the definitive article before the word Christ from the Greek Christos, anointed, employed in an absolute meaning is more correct, since that word is not the name of the Messiah from Nazareth, but rather a quality considered substantively. Thus one will say, Jesus was Christ. He was the Christ proclaimed. The death of the Christ and not of Christ. The death of the Christ and not that of Christ. While we say the death of Jesus and not of the Jesus. In Jesus Christ, the two words together form one proper name. It's for the same reason that one says the Buddha, Gautama, acquired the dignity of Buddha through his virtues and austerities. One says the life of the Buddha in the same way that one says the army of the Pharaoh and not of Pharaoh. The army of the Pharaoh and not of Pharaoh. Harry IV was king. The title of king, the death of the king and not of king, is an explanation about how signify to say Jesus the Christ. The Christ is the designating a level of Jesus, the Christ. How Gautama, the Buddha, is spiritual levels. Then is finished chapter 1. Next week I will start second chapter. And I hope you are a great final weekend with happiness and so much ideas. Pay attention in each one of these ideas, so much interesting. Until the next.